Hi, welcome to EDU 6540. I'd like to take a few minutes to tell you a little bit about myself and a little bit about this course. My name is Brenda Fisher. I'm an assistant professor here at the College of St. Scholastica. Prior to being here, I was at the University of Minnesota Duluth and at St. Mary's University of Minnesota. I began my teaching career in the elementary classroom. I taught in Willow River, Hinckley, and Forest Lake, Minnesota. I received my Bachelor of Science degree in elementary education from Moorhead State University. I then got my Master's of Education in Teaching and Learning from St. Mary's University of Minnesota and my EDD from the University of Minnesota. I received my K-12 reading license from Hamline University. I tell you this partially so that you realize that I have been an adult learner a good portion of my adult life. I understand the stresses and the pressure of being a full-time working adult while trying to get your education. So I do understand those pressures and realize that there's a lot going on. Now I'll spend some time giving you a brief overview of the course. Again, the course is entitled Data-Driven Classroom Assessment, so clearly the focus will be on assessment. We'll begin by looking at and talking about what is assessment. How do we use it in our classrooms? How is it being used on a school, a district, a state, a national level? We'll talk about what the trends are in good assessment and what good assessment looks like when it's done at a classroom level and at a larger level. We'll talk about what we do with the data that we get from assessments, how we use assessments to inform our own instruction. We'll talk about grading. We'll talk about homework. And towards the end of the course, we'll talk about what does this all look like for you in your classroom or in your particular work environment. The major assessments for this course include the following. We will have online discussions where we will discuss a variety of topics in assessment. We will also have video responses. We'll use a program called VoiceThread that will allow us to use video and audio responses to connect with one another. You will create a grading statement towards the end of the semester that talks about how you use grading in your classroom. You will also engage in creating a variety of assessments throughout the course. You'll actually practice writing good assessment tools. And finally, you will create an assessment plan, which will again be kind of a culminating activity where you'll put together much of the information that we now know to look at assessment in a very broad way in your particular classroom or work setting. Our discussions run 2 weeks in length. The initial post will be due by midnight on Sunday of the first week, and the follow-up posts will be due no later than midnight of Sunday on the second week. Each of the discussions is worth 10 points, except for the very first welcome discussion is just worth 5 points. And you'll notice that we do have a clear focus on making sure that our discussion posts have clear evidence of critical thinking. And you'll find that the posts specifically call upon you to do some synthesizing, to do some analysis, to do some evaluation. So hopefully our discussions move beyond the very surface kinds of discussions that sometimes we see in discussion posts. As I briefly mentioned earlier, we will be using a program called VoiceThread to do some video and audio responses. In the past, I've found that students really appreciate this because it does give us a way to get to know one another a little bit better when you get to hear a voice or see a short video. And so VoiceThread actually is outside of the Blackboard content, so it's something that we'll have to log into and get you set up. So in our first week, there are some directions for how to do that. You'll receive an email invitation from me, and so we'll get everyone organized with that before I expect you to go in there for an assignment. When you get to VoiceThread, you'll see that you have the option of providing, just typing in a text response, an audio response, or a video response. And depending on what we're talking about in the week, sometimes I'll ask you to do different things, but I think you'll enjoy it. It's another really great way for us to communicate with one another. Throughout the course, we'll be looking at a variety of different types of assessments. We'll be looking at selected response, constructed response, performance assessments, where we ask students to show us something, affective assessments, and portfolio assessments. You will be asked to create examples or types of each of these assessments. And so the way that this process will work is we'll learn a little bit about it. You'll create an assessment, share that with a peer. Your peer will take a look at your assessment, provide any feedback, some suggestions, or some ideas to make it even better. And then you'll have an opportunity to do any revision that you'd like to before you submit it. So your partners will be selected for you, and all of that information will be available for you on Blackboard. One of the final assessments for the course is the assessment plan. And this plan provides you an opportunity to look at a little bigger experience in the classroom, like a unit that you would teach, and think about how assessment plays a role in each stage of that unit, from the very beginning through the unit in terms of formative assessments that you'll use, and then how you will assess at the end whether or not your students really understood what it was you were trying to teach. The grading statement is, again, one of the final assessments for the course, and it gives you an opportunity to think about how you grade in your own classroom and why you grade that way. And you'll find throughout this course that we talk a lot about grading and what works well and what doesn't work well, and why we do some of the things that we do and how it impacts student learning. So as we're working through some of these ideas, it's nice to know in the back of your head that at the end of this you'll get an opportunity to think about what this looks like in your own practice and put that statement together. One of the most important things for you to know as you start this course is my job here is to help you be successful. So when you're having problems with anything, please let me know. It's impossible for me to help you if I don't know that you're having problems. So whether it's something little or something big that comes up, please just let me know sooner rather than later. I'm always happy to help in whatever way I can. I can be reached in a variety of ways. The easiest is email. I check my email very frequently. I also have my office phone number available for you there. You can usually expect to hear back from me quite quickly after you send an email. If you prefer, we could also do a Skype meeting or meet on FaceTime or Adobe Connect or any of those virtual ways as well. Again, please let me know when you need something. I'm here to help. I look forward to getting to know all of you and working together with you this semester. Welcome.